Hey everybody, we're back in our kitchen, but today Stefan is going to show us how to make real butter. He is not the chef of the family. Actually, his background is an electronic engineer, which means he thinks way too much and has to overanalyze everything.
Guilty.
But for some reason, he got intrigued with making homemade butter, like making butter from scratch.
We're Diana and Stefan. When we got married almost 19 years ago, we created a blended family with 3 kids. They've all grown up and flown the coop, leaving us empty bedrooms and a new life to learn called empty nesting. We have 3 awesome grandchildren, and we've had the chance to travel the world a little bit. But 2020 has changed some plans we had. What will life bring us now? Come along for the ride and find out what our next adventure is going to be.
It's really a fun project to do with your kids too, if you want to do that. It's not overly complicated, which is kind of depressing to Stefan because he likes super complicated things.
There's nothing really special and fancy that you need. I mean, there's a lot of different ways.
I mean, you can, if you have a KitchenAid, obviously it makes it easier because you're not holding the hand mixer. Or another way to do it too is with the ball jar. You can actually put your ingredients in a ball jar and you can literally
Okay, hold on. Go on YouTube and watch somebody do that if you want a good laugh.
I mean, it's constantly.
How to make butter with a ball jar.
Yeah, it takes a serious amount of time.
Or a mason jar.
It's kind of like when we were kids and we used to make ice cream, and our parents had an ice cream churn, and it was always when we went camping, and we would have other families with us and we would have other kids with us obviously, and we'd all take turns doing the churn. It kept us busy for hours, literally. So if you want to do something that's a little bit more time consuming, you can actually do all this in a ball jar, so not a big deal.
Okay, so here's your other options. If you don't have a KitchenAid, I got the wrong piece out. Okay, we got.
Yeah.
Here.
I'm just glad he knows where that piece is. Oh, yes. I hear that question a lot. Where is this? Where is that? It's like, he's lived in this house for 20 years. He doesn't know where these things are.
So we've got a Braun hand mixer. This will work very well too if you got one of those, or even just your standard, hand mixer this way. Put the beaters, is that what they're called?
They're beaters.
The beaters in there, that'll work also. So you got a bunch of options. We like using the KitchenAid with the whisk attachment is the best one that we use for that.
Right.
So what you're gonna need is this actually works really well with this attachment. If you wanna put that on, assistant.
Assistant. Ooh.
Assistant. What you're gonna need is the method to mix and now cream. And the cream that we use is regular, everyday, heavy whipping cream, nothing fancy. Now we've been to a variety of different grocery stores to see a variety of different prices. One of the grocery stores was about $6 for a quart of cream. The next one was $4, and then this one, as you can tell by the brand, is from Sam's. This is $2.89 if memory serves, or it's just under $3. And just to put it into perspective, because I like to do the math, 1 quart of this fluid will make 1 pound of butter, and also buttermilk.
Buttermilk.
It makes, and we'll get into that.
And I'm not a fan of buttermilk to drink it. My grandmother loved it, but not a fan of it to drink it.
And that's actually why we have this jar here. The one other thing you're gonna need is, I use one of those insulated cups, and it is full of ice water. It's gotta be cold. You're gonna need that, you're gonna see it in the end. And then a strainer to strain the liquid away from the actual butter. So, not really a whole lot to it, so let's get started.
All right, we're just gonna pour all the heavy whipping cream into the bowl.
Air. She does such a good job, doesn't she?
Yeah. I don't overthink it.
Okay, I'm a lousy cook. She is a very good chef. She makes amazing meals.
I'm not that great.
Oh, she's modest. Okay, now we gotta lift it up, right?
Yep.
Which way do we do that?
There you go.
That way.
All right, and we put the little guard on if you have one of those.
Splash
because it does splash. So we're just gonna start it out low and let it get going. Because if you put it on high right away, it's gonna fly all over your kitchen. And if you've made whipped cream before, you know that this is going to look like whipped cream a little bit, like halfway through, but we're gonna go past that point.
So up until now, it's exactly like making whipped cream.
Exactly.
No, we never think about going past that point.
Your love is like an ocean ready to take sail, swept up by current, swallowed by a wave. Take heed, they'll say, no, no, no need to get out, just stay on a lovely holiday. Our love is easy lasting, holiday so easy passing. Our love is easy lasting, holiday so easy passing. Together we're an island, only grains of sand.
Okay.
Okay, so now you can kind of see, I'm gonna take this out and everything. Because I want you to see how it's kind of watery now. You can kind of see the water in here. It kind of looks like crumbled butter, for lack of a better term, but you can see how watery it's starting to get. When it starts to get watery like that, you probably want to slow your speed down a little bit, just so you're not getting splashed, or to put that splash guard back on.
Yeah, let's put that splash guard on. We'll put the heater.
Oh, sorry. Uh-oh. Okay.
Go straight up. And there you go.
Yeah. Well, I'm a lefty. That was my right hand. Kind of making a little bit of a mess. I'm not usually so messy doing this. I'm just kind of keep that on there. It's back up. Going again.
You and me make one if you're counting on my hand. Take heed, they'll say, no, no, no need.
Really see.
Okay. Now you can really see what it's starting to look like. You can really see the, which way? Up?
Yeah. Can really see all of the buttermilk that's coming. You can see the sloshiness.
Okay, well, we'll see it in a second.
Yeah.
So now the next step is we got to get rid of that water. This is now butter and buttermilk. The last time we did this, we used the buttermilk for buttermilk pancakes the next morning. Maybe tomorrow I'll make you buttermilk pancakes again. They're so delicious with fresh buttermilk. So we're gonna pour that out. Okay, perfect. There isn't anything in there. Yeah, a little bit. Got it in there. We want that back out. Okay, so here, let me do this. There you go. Buttermilk. And if you ever wondered where buttermilk comes from, now you know. Now the next step, remember the ice water that I did in the insulated cup? Well, this ice water we're gonna have to put in here. We wanna cool this off. Now this is not gonna be buttermilk anymore. This will just be regular waste. We're gonna put some in there. When this happens about 3 times, we're gonna do this.
Get out, just stay on a lovely holiday. Lovely holiday. Our love is easy lasting. Holiday so easy passing. Our love is easy lasting. Holiday so easy.
We'll get some more of that out of there, but there's also some in here. A little bit more. All right, so the next part of this is just to basically squish as much water out of it as you possibly can also.
Without
before
squishing the butter through the...
Yeah, you're not gonna do that. But as you can see how nice and smooth it is when you press on it? But see, I'm still getting a little bit of water. You can kind of see the water popping up on it. I'm just gonna press that out. But the mixer did a pretty good job of getting most of the water out. If you want, at this point, you could add some sea salt to it. Maybe you want to add some cinnamon, have some cinnamon butter, or
Cinnamon honey butter?
honey, cinnamon honey butter. So you can get creative with this, and you know, maybe this is a whole quart of heavy whipping cream. So as Stefan had said earlier, it was less than $4 for a quart of heavy whipping cream.
Less than $3.
Right, if you're going to one of the big box store kind of things. And when we were at a farmer's market the other day, literally we saw a pound of butter for $12. And I almost choked. But anyway, you can also buy little butter things to make it fancy and or keep it in your refrigerator, or some people keep butter right out on the countertop, which we actually do. And as you know, we live in Florida,
that's fine.
but it's still perfectly fine that we leave this out on the counter, and we like to do that just because it is so much easier to deal with when you're trying to spread it on toast or something like that. But do what you're comfortable with. Keep it in the fridge if you'd rather.
People have asked in the past, what happens if I put salt in with the cream?
Right.
And all that happens there is you get salty
Buttermilk.
That's it. So now at this point, you could put into a bigger bowl and you can salt it to taste as much as you want. Right now, this is completely unsalted butter. So.
Or the fact that it's a full pound of butter, you could cut it in half, cut it in quarters, make part of it cinnamon, part of it honey, part of it salted, part of it not.
The one thing we did sort of started thinking about was when we cook with it. So when Diana cooks with it, she says it cooks much differently than store-bought butter. It's much nicer consistency.
So that's a pound of butter. Pound of butter.
Unsalted, fresh butter.
And you could just basically portion this out maybe into 4 different equal portions and make 1 honey butter, 1 cinnamon butter, 1 salted, 1 not salted. Do whatever you want, but I like having those options available. It tastes great on your toast in the morning.
And it cooks better?
And it cooks better too. I do like it better when I'm cooking. If I'm needing to get it to a higher heat, it doesn't seem to get brown as quickly. And I like it. I know what's in it. And
you think about it, for $3, you get a full pound of butter. You know what's in it.
yeah,
And when we were at the farmer's market the other day,
it was $12 for a pound of fresh butter. I couldn't get over that. I thought I was looking at it wrong. I thought, does that say $2 and that's the dollar sign in front of it? No, that was a pound of butter was $12. And you know, farmer's market, everybody thinks it's super fresh, which I'm sure it probably was, but we were able to do the same thing at home for less than $3.
and it's a fun project to do together,
Yeah, it
especially
takes
if
a
you
couple
got kids.
minutes. Yeah, it takes a couple minutes, but I think it's a learning thing too, because honestly, I didn't know why butter was yellow before. I mean, I had an idea, but I didn't understand by it separating out from the buttermilk how that really was the fat of the butter, was actually the yellow part of the butter. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Something to look up. Anyway, that's our project for today.
Hope you enjoyed.
Bye.
And if you like, don't say bye.
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe if you want to do more. If you want us to try other things or have any suggestions or questions, let us know. All right, now.
Bye.
Bye. There we go.
Yeah, you're gonna have a fun time editing that.
Yes, I will.